towns that vanish from maps, their names erased by time or swallowed by forest. And then there is Iselin, a place not lost, but hidden. It was never meant to be found by those in a rush. In the valley where the fog rests like a blanket and the river sounds like a whisper, Iselin slumbers. The houses here are old, built with hand-cut stone and crowned with moss. Lanterns hang on crooked arms beside doorways, glowing amber when night comes, like fireflies that forgot to move on. And at the heart of the town, there is a clockmaker named Elias. Elias lives and works in the same shop, a place that smells of cedarwood, oil, and time. The front window is full of clocks, grandfather clocks, wall clocks, pocket watches, and strange inventions with rotating arms and whispering chimes. Each one ticks to its own rhythm, but together they form a lullaby. Locals say Elias came from somewhere far away, or perhaps from nowhere at all. He simply appeared one day, pushing a cart filled with broken clocks and speaking with the soft accent of forgotten books. He set up his shop quietly, and he has stayed ever since. He speaks little, but his hands, they tell stories. Each morning, Elias winds the clocks. Each evening, he listens, and when the lanterns are lit in Iselin, and leans back in his creaky chair as if he's waiting for a visitor, for a sound, or perhaps for a memory. That night, like many before it, the sky had no stars. Clouds blanketed the valley, and the air felt thick with something unspoken. Elias moved slowly, fingers grazing brass, touching old glass faces, whispering to himself in a language only clocks might understand. At exactly midnight, one of the clocks struck 13. He paused. It was a small, round clock with a velvet green face, usually silent. Elias stared at it, head tilted, then whispered, "So, it's begun again." He took the key from the drawer, the one he never used, and opened the back door. Beyond the door was no alley, no garden, only fog. Elias stepped forward, his boots silent on the cobblestones. As he walked, the clocks in his shop kept ticking, but they slowed, and the town, always quiet, grew quieter still. The fog did not touch Elias. It parted for him, rolling back like a curtain. Beyond it lay a garden of gears, not flowers, not trees, just gears. Massive ones embedded into the ground like stones, others suspended in the mist, turning slowly as if dreaming. Some hummed, some pulsed faintly with light. In the center stood a device 10 feet tall, with winding columns and a pendulum that swung not left and right, but forward and backward. Elias approached it. This was the memory engine. He hadn't seen it in decades, not since he buried it here, thinking its work was done. He laid his hand on the cold brass and whispered again. The gears responded, one by one, until the entire garden vibrated gently with rhythm. He pulled a notebook from his pocket, its pages yellowed. Inside were names, hundreds of names, each one a memory, each one a person who once walked into his shop, broken in ways time could not fix. Elias had built the memory engine to help them, to find lost moments, stitch torn thoughts, return names to those who'd forgotten their own. But it had cost him. He placed the notebook on a podium at the engine's base. The device groaned, then opened. A doorway, carved in brass and light. He stepped inside. Within was no room, no floor, no ceiling, only echoes. Echoes of memories that were not his own. A girl laughing beside a frozen lake. A man kneeling in mud, holding a broken compass. A child tracing stars on a fogged window. Elias walked through them like mist. As he did, the engine pulsed brighter. Then came her memory. A woman in a violet dress, smiling at him. Not a client, not a stranger, Anna, his wife, lost in the fracture between dreams and waking. She had vanished years ago, no death, no goodbye, just sleep. Endless, unreachable sleep. He had built the engine to reach her. He had failed, until now. The engine opened a second door, and beyond it her dream. He stepped through. The sky here was not sky. It was velvet, stitched with stars that shimmered in and out of focus. The ground beneath Ilias's feet felt like warm sand but left no prints. He stood in a town that resembled Iselin, but wasn't. Everything was softer, quieter. Lanterns flickered not with flame, but memory. And in the window of the clock shop stood Anna, younger, laughing. He did not run. He approached slowly, reverently. She saw him and opened the door. "You took your time," she said. Her voice was music, not imagined. He reached for her hand. It was warm, solid. They walked together through this dream town, and with each step, Elias remembered more her favorite tea, the song she hummed when nervous, the way she used to kiss his cheek before vanishing into sleep. "Why now?" he asked. "Because you're finally ready to rest," she answered. They came to the river. It shimmered with time. Anna dipped her fingers into it. "This dream won't last, but it doesn't have to." Elias closed his eyes. "Then I'll make it count." When Elias awoke, the clocks were silent. The shop was unchanged. Dust danced in morning light. Tea steamed gently on the table. But something was different. He moved with a peace he hadn't known in years. He wound the clocks, not because he had to, but outside, Iselin was the same, and yet lighter. People smiled more. The fog had lifted slightly, and in the back of the shop, behind the velvet-faced clock, was a notebook, its pages now empty, except for one line. She remembers too. Elias closed the shop early that day. He brewed 2 cups of tea, sat in his chair, and waited. Not for a visitor, not for time, but for a dream. And when sleep came, he smiled, because in some hidden town where clocks tick dreams into being, 2 people walked through velvet streets, hand in hand, until time forgot them forever.